New Jersey. I was speaking to someone from, I like that. Hot Atlanta. Good. Alabama. That's great.
Wonderful, wonderful. I
Pennsylvania.
see. Oh,
Welcome.
yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Oh, good. I see so many great states. Georgia. Look, see, I told you there'd be a Canadian in here. Never fails. I love the dedication of the Canadians. I love it.
Woohoo.
Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, no matter where you're tuning in from. This is Sabrina with Spoiled Agent. But what's exciting is look at all these panelists and guests I have with me today. You're in for a real treat. And I love this line that you said, Nancy. I'm going to say it if you don't mind. You
Yeah.
think you know the Caribbean? Think again. That's what I thought. Now, when I was checking about all of this, I was like, yeah, I really have no idea. Thank goodness I'm not a travel professional like you spoiled agents, but we're here to bring you the light and the beauty and the vibe of all these gorgeous destinations that are within the Caribbean that you might not be so aware of yet. Maybe you are, but after today, you're going to be absolutely in love and enamored. So I'm here with my friend and colleague Nancy Drolet. She's the founder of this amazing One Caribbean USA, which you're all signing up for today, I'm sure. How are you, Nancy?
Excellent. Thanks for having us. We're thrilled to be with all of these wonderful spoiled agents. Hey, listen, I want to see Pamela Ott, who apparently the party doesn't start until the redhead arrives.
This is true. This is true.
Love it. Thank you guys all for coming. This is so awesome. Love seeing all the messages and where everybody's from.
Absolutely.
Antigua, somebody's from Antigua.
Well, I think that there's some great connections here that you can have right from there. So I'll go ahead and introduce
Excellent.
our guest panelists. I have Shania Taylor Lee from Montserrat. Hello, Shania. How are
Hi
you?
everyone. Hi, I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you for being here. And Jenna Farber from Guyana Tourism. Hi, Jenna.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And of course, last but certainly not least, Maya Pant with Stacia. How are you, Maya?
I'm doing great. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Stacia, sunny Caribbean.
Okay, don't rub it in. I know it's rainy where I am. It's in
Oh,
the not where it's supposed to be weather. Look, Consuela says my grandparents are from Guyana.
oh, isn't
Okay,
that great?
fantastic. All the cultures here. Well, I will not take too much time. I just want to do some quick housekeeping as usual. If this is your first time with us, I'll just let you know that we always record our webinars. So if you have to leave part way because you absolutely want to tell your clients about these three destinations, we forgive you. But you can come back and watch the recording, of course, on our YouTube channel with Spoiled Agent or on the One Caribbean dedicated page on Spoiled Agent. If you have any questions, please, with sugar on top, please let us know in the Q&A box. It's different from the chat box, and a full report will be created so that our supplier partners and amazing hosts can follow up with you promptly and directly to your email address. So please do that for us. The chat is for the fun stuff like going to Guyana to find your roots and Happy Day from Hot Maryland. But the Q&A, please help us out with that. Now, also, you have all these fun buttons so we can show love for the Caribbean. Go ahead if you want to try your reactions. You can send us your love and appreciation. That always keeps our panelists' heart happy. So without further ado, oh, and we have a prize today.
We
Thank you,
do.
Nancy. You're always so
Oh,
generous.
my pleasure.
You want to say
Can-
what that is?
Well, it's $100 gift card to
Yes,
Amazon because, I
that's
mean,
easy
who
peasy.
doesn't
Yeah,
want it delivered to their door?
that's right. Perfect. So that's going to go to one lucky winner. You must stay on until the Q&A portion starts, so at
Mhm.
the end of the presentation. And we will know the winner today is Thursday, so about a week from today at the latest, sort of mid next week perhaps. Then we'll be
Mhm.
announcing and contacting the winner. So all of you, we wish you lots of luck. But hey, all you need is all this knowledge to make your clients happy, right? And wait till you hear all about One Caribbean. Okay, I'm going to stop now because it's Nancy's show and I will let you take it away, Nancy.
You are so awesome, and you can share any screen with me anytime because you are amazing. We love
Oh,
you. we love our spoiled agents, but we love you guys because all of the work that you do on all of our behalf, we so appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank
heart to
you. We
you
feel the
too, honey.
same. We feel the same.
Well, I'm going to share my screen, and what we'll be able to, we're going to take you through three different countries. And, you know, as Sabrina said, and as we said in the invite out, you think you know the Caribbean, but you know what? There are countries that you're not as familiar with, and we want to introduce them to you. Before we get to the three countries that are co-hosting with me today, I want to introduce you to One Caribbean USA. If you weren't on the first webinar that we did that spoke about One Caribbean USA, you can go back to Spoiled Agents website and, of course, to the One Caribbean USA page, and you can watch that. But just, I'm going to give you some highlights, okay? We are not a booking platform, and that's the thing that I want to make sure that everyone understands. We created One Caribbean USA for you and for your clients as a sales tool that you can use to help promote the Caribbean region. So we're One Caribbean, and we are united in our effort to promote the region through the website. We're a single focal point. What we're trying to do is save you time. So you come to our website, and then we link you to the right spot on any of our tourism board websites to the correct spot if you need more and more information. Sometimes we have information on our website that you can't find on the tourism's website, the tourism board website. We've got information on destination weddings, hospitals. We're in the process of adding dental care, and because you guys asked for it, so we're adding that in. And we created this new Caribbean event calendar. This actually is our second version. This version on the US website went live on July 4th. It is now 40 pages long, and it has I think about 25 countries and more events. So take a look at that. And you can also come over to our destination map page. By the way, this map is available as a downloadable on the website, so that if you wanted to reacquaint yourself with the whole geography of the Caribbean, what country is located next to another country, etc. This is available as a downloadable on the site as well. When you go on the website and you click under destinations, you will see a little gold box in front of the names of the countries where we have information. Hopefully, all of them will have little gold boxes soon, but we're adding country by country. We have 10 countries on the site right now. Okay. And don't forget to check out our hotel partners. We're adding more every day. Many smaller boutique hotels, apartments, villa rentals, etc., are under the accommodation tab. There's information at a glance for each hotel, highlights on why you should pick this particular hotel. And then we are adding information, you know, what actions that hotel is taking to be more sustainable. What about accessibility options for people who have physical, hearing, or vision disabilities? What about allergies? How do we handle that, especially at an all-inclusive? So these are things that we're asking the hotels, and we're adding that information in under each hotel. You can look at it at your leisure. I really want to point out the fact that you can travel around the Caribbean. We know that sometimes it isn't easy to get from one country to another country, but I really did want to point out the fact that we have ferries listed on the website that would help you get from one country to another country. I've got St. Eustatius here highlighted, which we also call Statia. Um, so if you're staying in Statia and you want to go to Saba or St. Kitts or St. Martin, this is the way you do it. So that is under the transportation tab on our website. And once you have logged in, first you have to register on the website and we approve you in. The only reason we do that is to keep consumers out because we post information here that is only for you, our travel advisor partner. Once you're registered, then you log back in, and in the advisor portal, this is what you'll see. Every Tuesday morning by 11 a.m., we post updates on what is new on the website this week and updates on what you need to know if you are selling the Caribbean this week. So all the countries send me information, the hotels send me information, and I populated under that tab Advisors Weekly e-blast. But over and above that, we have that agent rate and incentive tab. If you click on that, then what we do is provide you with agent rates, specialist programs, booking incentives, etc. If you click on any of those country logos, you will find the information on how to contact them. We also included the Sherpa link. So anyone who might not be American, for example, maybe they're, I don't know, English or Indian or wherever they're from, the Sherpa link will give you the entry requirements for that country. We also have all the links to all the ED cards. So all in one place, so you don't have to search for them. Every country, we will add the information there so that you can go to one place and provide that link to your client wherever they might be going. So I'm going to ask you before we get to Guyana, which will be our first presenting country, join us. Register under the advisor portal. It really does help us get more destinations and hotels. We have articles that we put on the website every 2 weeks. We have a new one that we add, and you can send those to your clients. And you can also use it for your own social media. Send it to your clients. You'll see as you go through our website that we are not a booking website. So we're your resource for information. Feel free to link your website to ours. We're not a booking site. Clients can gather information and then bring their choice back to you and do help us improve. I always say, if we're missing something, let us know what you want to know. The last webinar that we did with Spoiled Agent, someone said they wanted dental information. So I've gone back to all the countries and we're slowly but surely adding all the dental information under the medical tab so that if somebody's on holidays and they crack a crown, they'll know where to go for some assistance. Okay? So that's One Caribbean USA in a nutshell. I'm going to introduce Jenna. Jenna, you got to come back on screen, and by sorry, I'm just going to click that there. You're already there. There you
I'm
are.
here. I'm here.
Okay. So I'm thrilled to introduce Jenna to you. Jenna works with emerging destinations and they're the representatives for Guyana in the US. And I'm just going to click to your first slide and you take it over from here, okay?
Thank you so much, Nancy, and thank you, Sabrina, as well, for this opportunity to be able to speak to so many of you and to introduce the destination of Guyana. So, to start off with that, as Nancy just said, my name's Jenna. I'm with Emerging Destinations. So, we represent the Guyana Tourism Authority in North America. So, specifically to the travel trade. So, I will be your point of contact if you do have any questions that you might want to ask. I think, Nancy, we need to get the slides back up.
Are you not seeing them?
I'm seeing a One Caribbean USA slide.
Okay,
I don't know if everybody else
I'm
was also
going
seeing that.
to go to that. Tell me
There we
what
Perfect.
go.
There we go. Awesome. We can
you're
start from
good?
there. So
Okay.
I myself have been working with the Guyana Tourism Authority since 2019. So although I'm not Guyanese, I do have the privilege and honor of introducing to you the destination today. So you might be wondering, if anyone's familiar with Guyana, you might know that we're actually located in South America. So you might be wondering what we're doing on a One Caribbean presentation. So just for you to know, although the country's South American, the Guyanese people actually associate themselves with the Caribbean. That is their identity. So to summarize that as well, we are the only English-speaking country in South America. So South American nation, about the size of Idaho, so a small country in terms of South America, although of course large for a Caribbean associated country, if you will. And while they consider themselves Caribbean, they do not have the beaches and the coastal land that are characteristic of the Caribbean. So I will start saying that right from the get-go. This is going to be a very different Caribbean presentation than you will be seeing from the next couple destinations. So stay tuned for more on that. Average weather in the country is 25 to 32 degrees Celsius, which is about mid 80s, high 80s. And we can be characterized with two different seasons, the wet season and the dry season. And you will see that we are located to the east of us is Suriname, and then the big country to the south is Brazil. So getting to Guyana, we have been working on the connectivity from North America for the past several years. So we do have a few nonstop and some multi-stop ways for you to get to Guyana. Some of the airlines that are serving Guyana include American Airlines, we have British Airlines, Caribbean Airlines, Copa, etc. So there's quite a few different ways to get your guests or yourself to Guyana. And important to note that Air Transit is actually launching a new twice weekly nonstop route direct from Toronto to Guyana to Georgetown. So if that starts in December and runs until next year. So we're very excited to have that. In terms of our tourism product offerings, again, as I mentioned, this is going to be very different from the other Caribbean destinations. These are our 5 pillars of tourism. So we have our nature and wildlife, active exploration. There's actually lots of different active activities, trekking, kayaking, horseback riding, ATVing, etc., that you can explore in Guyana. Conservation is another huge component of the tourism product, culture and heritage, and birding. Guyana actually has over 800 species of birds, so it is a huge birding destination as well. So where do your guests fly into when they come to Guyana? Georgetown is the nation's capital, and it is located on the coast. We always recommend spending at least a day. There's tons to see and do in Georgetown, including the St. George's Cathedral, which is reputably the tallest wooden church in the world. There's lots of markets, and the cuisine scene is amazing. Guyana cuisine is very unique. So it's a Creole, Indian, Caribbean fusion. Which just creates spectacular dishes. Lots of one-pot meals, pastries, stews. The national dish is a pepper pot, curries. Those sorts of things will be very common on your Guyana trip. Now, once you leave Georgetown, you are going into essentially what you see up there on your screen. So Guyana itself, the name translates to land of many waters. So this is a very important water system, is used as a highway system rather for traveling in these remote areas. So about 85% of the country is still virgin untouched rainforest. It's still dense Amazon, as you can see up there on your screen. So this, of course, can make getting around slightly difficult. So we do use those waterways as well as flights. Many local flights will take your guests into the interior of Guyana. Up there you can see Kaitour Falls, which is kind of our iconic falls. It's one of the world's most powerful single drop waterfalls in the world. Measures 226 meters tall, so about the equivalent of an 83-story building. And 3 times larger than Iguazul Falls, just to give you a little bit of context. And there's literally no way to get there unless you hike or you take a plane. And it is still, as you can see, very underdeveloped. So the best part about it is there's no crowds. You literally get dropped off in the national park on the side there, and you go onto the platform and overlook this massive, impressive wonder. So it's a very special place. And of course, no trip to Guyana would be complete without it. So now just to touch briefly on the people of Guyana. So 90% of the population lives on the coast. Again, not the Caribbean coast as you would presume for a Caribbean identified country, but So 90% of the population is on the coast, and that means the remainder are in the interior. And the interior is where the majority of the tourism products exist. So the ethnicity of Guyana is actually made up of 6 main people. So there's the Amerindians, the Africans, the Indians, the Europeans, Chinese, and Portuguese. So you can just imagine what kind of fusion of culture, music, architecture, and cuisine that you get in such a diverse country. And of course, we have 9 indigenous peoples that call Guyana home. So they're very proud to share their cultural traditions. Many of our tourism products are indigenous owned and operated. And again, as I mentioned before, the best part is since English is the national language, there's no need for a translator to be able to communicate with your indigenous hosts. Now, to touch a little bit on the wildlife, Guyana is also known as, Guyana's got many names, the land of the giants. So we have the giant anteaters, for example. We have giant river otters. We're home to one of the largest freshwater scaled fish in the world, the arapaima. We have capybaras, there's jaguars, and then 2 very popular birds are found there as well, which is the cock of the rock, which is the orange one pictured there, and the harpy eagle. So if anybody's got any birding enthusiasts, please make sure to reach out and we can get them off to Guyana. So that's a little bit on the wildlife. And then just to talk a little bit about the accommodation. Now, when you arrive to Georgetown, we do have our standard 4- and 5-star accommodations, which are pictured here. However, once you move out of Georgetown into the interior, the accommodations are going to be a bit more basic. Amenities are going to be a bit more rustic, but it's all part of the allure of the destination, what you get to experience the 5-star nature and culture of the destination. Baganara Island Resort, these are some examples of some lodges that can be found near Georgetown, and some Fort Zeelandia, which is a great historical site. And then moving into the interior, the conservation is very prominent in almost every single one of the lodges or tourism products that we have in Guyana. So the Cayman House is a great example of this. They do black cayman research, so guests can come and stay there. Then we have Rewa Eco Lodge, which I had the opportunity to spend a fabulous trip there last October. So here, for example, you might have accommodation where you do have an ensuite bathroom and fans, where this might not be common in all of the other accommodations that you can find in Guyana. So it's a very specific niche kind of traveler that would like to go off the grid and experience this true, raw, authentic tourism. Sarama Eco Lodge is another example of this. And then we also have in the middle of Guyana, where the Amazon parts, there's also a savanna area where they actually have a cowboy type culture. So there's various ranches there where you can go and figure life in the day of a cowboy. You can see the anteaters, you can go horseback riding. So it's a very interesting section of the country. So Wycan Ranch and then Saddle Ranch, I think will
Oops,
be.
sorry.
Thank you. Popping up next.
Oops, hold on a second. There it is.
There we go. So as I mentioned, you can do the horseback riding. And then further on, we also have the Ivokrama Canopy, which is a great area. I think the next slide there, Nancy. There we go, which is an amazing destination for birding, as you can probably imagine. So that is just like a bit of a blurb into Guyana's tourism product. Now, this should have said launched in 2025, so my apologies. And I won't spend the time to go through each of them, but I did just want to show you that there's constantly new developments in Guyana's tourism product, and there's lots of really exciting things that have been introduced, such as trekking and hiking has become more popular in our tourism product in the past few years. I mean, there's kayaking, there's biking, there's ATVing, birding, as I mentioned, there's jaguar tours. Another one by the Wild Tales is a jungle survival course for any of those adrenaline seeker clients that you might have. And then more recently, also Jonestown Memorial Tour has been introduced. So there's lots to see and do in Guyana, and please feel free to reach out to me to learn more. And thank you so much for your time today and for having me.
That's awesome, Jenna. Thank you so much. Stunning visuals. Why go to Africa? Guyana is so much closer, right? Well, next, let's move on to another Caribbean island that you may not know very much about. Yeah, there you are. I see your picture just popped back on screen, so I'm happy to have Shanae here from the Montserrat Tourism Authority, and I'm going to pop to your next slide, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Nancy. Good day, everyone. Like Nancy would have said, my name is Shanae Taylor Lee, and I'm the tourism officer at the Montserrat Tourism Authority. And I'm so happy to share a bit of our little piece of paradise with everyone. So, just a bit about Montserrat. We are known as the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean. We're British overseas territory covering just under 40 square miles. And yes, we are still growing quite literally due to the volcanic activity that happened since 1995. Our population is around 5,000 people, so we're very small, and we're located in the Eastern Caribbean, just northwest of Guadeloupe and southwest of Antigua. And just some other general facts about Montserrat. Two-thirds of Montserrat is uninhabited, due again to the 1995 volcanic eruption, which makes for some fascinating landscapes and history. We operate on Atlantic Standard Time, just 1 hour ahead of Eastern Standard Time. You can fly in from the US or Canada to Antigua in about 5 hours with same day connecting flights over to Montserrat. The temperature roughly is warm all year round, luckily, averaging about 27 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And we use 110 voltages for electricity. And our currency that we use here is the Eastern Caribbean dollar, which works out to be about $1 is about 2.7 EC, and one Canadian about 2.11. So getting to Montserrat starts by flying into Antigua, which is our main gateway for international visitors. And from Antigua, you have two options to reach us here on Montserrat. You can take a short 17-minute, very scenic flight over to Montserrat via either Fly Montserrat, which you're seeing on your left, or via SVG Air, which you see on your right. Now, I know these are small planes and some people are wary, but trust me, the flights are smooth and nice once you get over to Montserrat. And recently, the government of Montserrat signed a contract with Winair, which offers flights from St. Martin to Montserrat 3 days a week, which are on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So while we may be off the beaten track a bit, if you don't want to go through Antigua, you can go through St. Martin and come down to Montserrat. So let's now talk a bit about what makes Montserrat truly special. We have our Sophia Hills volcano active, but is safely monitored by the Montserrat Volcano Observatory and all the wonderful scientists that we have over there. And it's really our star attraction. And from the volcano, we have our what we call our buried city of Plymouth. And this offers our visitors a glimpse into our past. The former city Plymouth is now actually buried under 60 feet of ash and mud from the volcanic eruption in 1995, actually celebrating our 30th anniversary this week. And it is known by many as our modern day Pompeii. And we do offer guided tours into the buried city of Plymouth, so you can get that first-hand experience of what happened. And our island is warm and welcoming. Its small size makes for a very authentic and personalized experience. And we're also known as a nature lover's paradise. We have a diverse hiking trails. And of course, we could find amazing diving spots here as well. And unlike other Caribbean islands that have white sand beaches, here on Montserrat, what sets us apart is that we have what we call ebony black sand beaches. And they're very good for exfoliating, and it's just really therapeutic. And of course, we have a unique blend of Afro-Irish heritage and lively cultural festivals. For example, our St. Patrick's Festival, which happens yearly in March, as we are the only other country outside of Ireland that actually celebrates St. Patrick's Day as a national holiday. We have a 12-day long week of activities. And of course, because of our proximity to Antigua, Montserrat pairs perfectly with visitors that want to have like that twin island holiday. So you go to Antigua and then you come over to Montserrat. So in terms of where to stay, we don't have big resorts, all inclusives, chain hotels, and all of that is intentional. Our accommodations are charming, cozy, and family run, perfect for guests who just want to feel at home. You know, we have one boutique hotel, and then we have villas, we have cottages, guest house, apartments, Airbnbs, where you'll find comfort and the quiet and the charm of the Caribbean as you'll find throughout just looking around in Montserrat. So now Nancy will show a short video that will bring Montserrat to life, our landscape, our culture, our beauty, and then we'll get back. Nancy? So yes, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for listening. I hope this was quite informative and you learned something a bit about Montserrat. You can always visit our website, and of course, you can always visit One Caribbean. We are also there. So yes, thank you again, and we look forward to welcoming you or your clients to our island soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I think we're going to add this video to our website shortly. There's a different one on One Caribbean USA, but hey, we like the music, so we've got to add this one to the One Caribbean USA website. Thank you so much, Janae.
Nancy.
Okay, so now we're moving on to Saint Eustatius, which we know is called Statia. So Maya, please, you take it away and tell us all about the beautiful island of Saint Eustatius or Statia.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you everyone for being here with us today. The island official name is St. Eustatius, but everyone knows it by Statia, so we say Statia. And like it said, a small island but big thrills. So, um, so we're glad to have you here and talk a little bit about our island. Just like Montserrat just stated, just Statia as well, we're a little small island. We're only 21 square miles, or I mean 21 square kilometers, sorry, and 8.1 square miles. So really small. We're not too far. We're surrounded by islands, but St. Martin is our main hub, and St. Kitts for the ferry. So we have St. Martin that you can fly in from. We can sit from station, see St. Bart's, Saba, St. Kitts, and on a good clear day, we can also see Montserrat if it's quite clear. So we're surrounded by some other Caribbean islands as well. Just to say, Statia is Dutch. I forgot to mention that. We're a part of the Dutch system. So we do a part of the Dutch. We have the Dutch government, and our system is all in Dutch. From St. Martin to Statia is with Winair. It's a little short 18-minute flight. A very beautiful and calm flight, so no worries. It's a 19-seater, however, but it's very comfortable and no fare at all. And from St. Kitts to stations by the ferry, 50 minutes. Most of the time, I will say 85% of the time, the water is quite calm, so you have a very smooth ride from St. Kitts over to Statia. Stations of land. We first of all, let me say, we pride ourselves and say we're a green destination. We focus a lot on our ecosystem. And we're also what we call an open air museum. And since we have the USA in-house, we want to say that Statia is the first to have saluted the American flag. Statia played a very huge role in the freedom of America. We have a lot of the ruins, and every year on November 16th, actually, we celebrate what you call Statia Day, which is the salute to the American flag, and we reenact, well, it's supposed to be the 13-gun salute, but because the fort only had 11 cannons, it's 11-gun salute. We have the plaques and everything in our fort. It's called Fort Orania. So just so you know, we call Statia Statias refer to America as the childhood friend of America. And on the pictures there, you see there's some pictures of the fort, or Fort Orania, Fort de Wind, our Dutch Reformed Church, our blue beads, which was used back in the days of the slavery as the payment to the slaves. So it's like a, what do you say? The blue beads are considered monetary value, so they were paid to the slaves. So a lot of people know, the divers especially, they come to Statia trying to find a blue bead because it's like something worth diving for, to say you found one. We also have the second oldest synagogue, the Jewish synagogue in the Western Hemisphere. So that as well, Statia prides itself on. We had a huge Jewish population on the island back in the day until Rodney decided to step foot on our island. The Jews were all dispersed, but we have the Jewish cemetery still on Statia with a lot of the old Jewish tombs and a lot of the Jewish history here as well. Statia is our parks are very well kept. We have the Quill, which is the highest point. It's of Mazinga. It's 600 square meters up. It's very well maintained. We have like 7 trails. The trails are all well marked, well maintained. We have what you call the Statia National Parks. If you come and you don't want to do the hike by yourself, there's always guides at the Stanapa office that can go with you. But the hikes are amazing. It's a lovely hike, and they're all very well marked. The timing is very well on point. And then we have the Boven side, the section with Gilboa Hill in Boven National Park. The unique part of Boven National Park, it still has the wall that was built by the slaves back in the day that is still intact, and it still sits up there. But that's like I will say about an hour and a half hike. But that hike, you take it early morning or later in the afternoon, because on that side of the island, it's very much exposed. There's not much trees. While if you hike the quill is fully covered. And going down in the crater itself is an adventure in itself. The going down in the crater is like you're going down into a jungle. You know, it's very calm, beautiful. And for a tiny island that we are, we also have like 52 species of birds that you can see. So it is a beautiful hike if you're into nature and eco. And it's like once you practical information here, we have, first of all, we use the US dollar. We're a Dutch island, but we use our currency is the US dollar. So, and we have a plethora of car rentals options to choose from. If you don't want to drive, the driving is just like the American system. We drive on the left side, so driving is very easy. The roads are very well marked. We don't have a lot of traffic jams. We're a very small island, so no traffic jams. But if you say, no, I don't want to drive because maybe the streets are too narrow, you can rent a taxi for 2.5 hours, and they'll take you around the island to the main highlights of the island and for a tour. And that's also very nice because they stop with you. You can take your pictures. You can, they'll give you the history. They'll give you the tour, and it's just as nice. Instead of you driving by yourself and not knowing exactly, they will give you a detailed information of the island. You can also get a walking tour from the historical museum. They do a wonderful walking tour. They take you to the historical sites in the town. Since we're not a big island, we don't have cities, so we say town, and our capital is called Oranjestad. So the walking tour is around Oranjestad, where you have the major historical fixtures, landmarks, and the language. Our official language actually is Dutch, but everyone on station speaks English. So the spoken language is English. Our school system is in English. But everybody else, they speak Dutch, they speak Papiamento, and they speak Spanish. So it's very multicultural here. We also have about 52 different, just like the birds, 52 different nationalities here on the island as well. So a tiny island with a lot of different nationalities. Our national park, I like what we said. We always say we do it deeper. Stations is one of the best diving destinations in the Caribbean. Very well kept, very well maintained. The dive shops are very versed in the dive sites. We have over 36 dive sites. Yeah, there's the reefs, very well kept. We have the shipwrecks, and the one on the picture is the Charlie Brown, a huge attraction for shipwrecks diving, and it's very diverse. So, and lots to see. Lots. The marine life is teeming on Statia underwater. And to summing up Statia, we have archaeology. We have a huge past in with archaeology. They do a lot of research that provides a lot of the background of. First was the Arawak Indians, and then the slaves that were brought here. So there's a lot of the history about that. We do a lot of destination weddings. You can, if you want to come to Statia to get married, the process is quite easy. We have all that information for anyone interested. everyone is welcome on Statia, so we don't discriminate. We welcome everybody with open arms. Accommodations, our accommodations range. We recently have a 5-star resort that is just opened about 4 years ago on Statia. It's all inclusive. We have accommodations to inns, to lodges. So it's a lot to choose from, and the variety is there. And if you're interested in being calm and collective, it's all part of everyone have their unique flavor, like we will say of Statia. So it's all very small, very affordable island. And like I said, this is Statia, like our coast. Let me mention as well, because they said Guyana. Statia has what we call seasonal beaches. Our beaches, like 6 months out of the year, you will get beautiful sandy beaches. But unlike the other islands as well, we have the black sand beaches. So our beaches have black sand, volcanic sand. And because of the current, about 6 months of the year, a lot of the beach disappears, and we don't have a beach, but you can still go and sit at the area by the sea and still enjoy the fresh breeze. We have experiences for couples who want to enjoy a honeymoon away. We have the hiking, we have the wellness, we have the cultural experiences. Actually, today is the start of our carnival. So Statia Carnival starts today, and it lasts for about 7 days. And the rugged coastlines, as you can see, but you can still walk. They look rugged, but you can still do a walk. It's a nice walk along the coastline. And diverse cuisine, because we have that many cultures on the island. Our cuisine is quite diverse as well. It goes from international to your local cuisine. The local cuisine, mainly our national dish, believe it or not, is goat. So the stewed goat, and our provisions meaning like the sweet potatoes, the yams, and the plantains. So that's our national dish. And ecotourism, if you climb up to the quill, it's teeming with all kind of insects. None of them, we have snakes here. They're not poisonous, they're not harmful, so you don't have to be afraid of them. So Statia's a wonderful place with a lot of history, a lot of connections to the US. And we're very welcoming, warm, open-minded people.
And I'll
And
click
that's,
it.
yes, a video of the island coming in on the ferry. We wanted to show that, if you don't come on the Winia Plain, the ferry is still accessible from St. Kitts, from St. Martin.
Video really shows the differences from one side of the island to the other. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Maya.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope that you guys put Station on your list to visit sometime soon.
That'd be amazing. Oh, I'm going to keep this up on screen. So if any of you want to take a picture of the contact information, you can. But I want to remind you that if you register and then, of course, log back into the One Caribbean USA site, that you will have access to all the contact information for all the Caribbean countries as we add them. So I'm going to stop share so that you can see our faces again and so that we can also go to the Q&A page, and we can answer any of the questions that we see here. So I think I see, let's see, I'm going to start from the bottom and go back up. Maya, the first one's for you, and it's what are the best travel times to Statia when are the beaches in the best condition?
It's before hurricane season, to be honest. So anytime after October, all the way up to May, June, you can access the beaches. After that, when it starts to get hurricane season, for some reason, a shift in the current and the wind, and we start to lose our beaches.
Okay, gotcha. Good. And actually, I should point out that I know we mentioned with Montserrat a two-center holiday with Antigua and Montserrat, but Statia is a great place to also do a two-center holiday with either St. Kitts or with St. Martin or St. Bart's, etc., because you're so close in terms of proximity, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, Shani Smith asked about how do we register for One Caribbean? It has to be onecaribbeanusa.com. And then when you go into the Advisor Media Mice portal, there's a drop-down menu that shows registration. Click on registration. If you have any issues at all, just send me a note and I can make sure that you're in there properly. Tawanda Wilson asked if there are no all-inclusives, how much is it to dine when in destination, and how far from where you are staying do you have to travel to dine? I don't know if that's a question for Montserrat or for St. Eustatius for Statia, but I think that that would be a really good question for both of you.
Everything
Average
for us is
cost.
in close proximity. The island being so small, you can walk to barely nearly everything, actually. So it's not, and it's very safe. I gotta mention that, and it's very true. We're very safe here. We've had many folks that visitors lose something, and they will post it on social media saying, I found this, and you can come and get it here, and everything is always intact. So that's what we put pride in, that it's quite a very safe island to visit. So even if you're a group of females and you want to come and walk around by yourself, you're very much safe.
So back to dining though, an idea of what would the cost of dining be at what you would consider to be a more local type of restaurant? Ballpark it for me.
It will run you maybe by us here on Statia. I'm not sure for Montserrat, but here on Statia with drinks and everything, you will pay between 25 to 40, depends how much you drink. If you just eat, the meal will run you between 15 and 20, but adding the drinks in, you might end up a little more.
Ah, that's understandable. And how about you in Montserrat, Shanae?
Yeah, so similar to Statia as well, because of our small island, everything is in close proximity. Everything is in driving distance. We also have our marine village, which is like a central hub it's on our ocean front that has a number of restaurants, riverside of restaurants. We also have our local street vendors and local cook shops. So everything is in close proximity. And in terms of pricing, we have similar as well. Probably for like a local meal, it will run you anything from like 20 US to maybe anything from 20 US to maybe 30. And then for like a fine dining experience, that would obviously cost you more, anything from 20 to 75 US.
Okay, that's a
Not
great
including
idea. A
drinks.
great range. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
not including the beverage option. I
Right.
also see that there's a question about the ferry from Antigua to Montserrat. So there used to be a ferry, but there's not
Be a
currently
ferry.
a ferry now.
No.
No, so you have to fly over and just stay in touch on our website, and we will update you as to, whether or not the ferry starts running again. I've been asked a couple of times here about companies other than Airbnb and villa rentals. And what I would say to you is that there are a lot of real estate agencies, etc., that also manage villa rentals like that. Is there anything else, Shanae, that you would recommend in Montserrat or a company to contact?
Yeah, so like you could go on Airbnb, like the person would have said. Of course, you can visit our website as well, www.visitmontserrat.com. And because our things are family owned, you can just reach out to them directly via email or call, or you can always contact me and I can help you and put you in touch with the relevant persons.
That's great. Thank you so much. And Maya, same question to you. Aside from Golden Rock Resort, which is the beautiful five-star resort, and there is a link on our website, what about the other properties that are in Montserrat? How would somebody book that?
On station, well, a lot of our hotels, well, inns and hotels, motels are all online. Um, so you can reach them, or if you go to station-tourism.com as well, you can find them there. But there's like the ones like Quill's Garden, they're all on the Country and Papaya Inn. They all have and like Montserrat, a lot of ours are all locally owned. We're no chain hotels at all here on the island. They're all locally owned. So every owner has their own specifics. So you reach out to them. I know there's a few properties listed on Airbnb as well.
Mhm.
Um, and our properties are all to be on Airbnb, even though they're Airbnb, our local government office always inspect them to make sure they live up to the standards that they're supposed to be.
That's great. I think someone asked if there is immunization information on the website. Interesting question. Honestly, there isn't, because normally I think people connect to the CDC to see what that requirement would be. And certainly when you are doing well, we used to call it the TARS, but when you go into Sherpa, that's usually where immunization information is located. Because that information can change, we haven't included it, but I can take a look at that, so one never knows. Um, Someone else has also asked about local airport transfer companies in the Caribbean, and that's a great question. We one day want to add a link to DMCs, destination management companies that do offer that. If you go under the accessibility tab, if a country has accessibility options, we also do provide a link to a company that might provide accessible transportation as well as tours. So that would be there. But stay tuned. All of the countries that we've discussed today have information on their websites about DMCs. In the general information paragraph on each country, there is a link directly to each country's website. So that's how easy it is to take you to the right spot on those countries' websites. Um, there's also I'm also going to point out that somebody is asking me about accessibility in Montserrat, and I'm going to answer for you, Shanae, and interrupt me if I'm incorrect, but I would say that a lot of the mountainous islands are not as accessibly available, if you will. Many of the Caribbean countries don't have the wheelchair transportation, for example. They just don't offer it. And with all the hills and everything like that, these destinations are not what I would consider to be accessible. So we do stipulate that on the website too. So when you go in and you go under the accessible tab under each country's page, we will tell you honestly, whether we think it is great for those with that are physically challenged. And then the last question that's there is about how do you experience the destination? Well, certainly when you go on the One Caribbean USA website and you go into the advisor portal, you will see an icon to click on that speaks to agents rates, and it speaks to specialist programs, and it speaks to incentive programs and how to log your booking. So that's really important. Go into that whole page. We've put tons of countries in there, and there are great agent rates for a number of different countries and properties. Jenna, we've got a question here for you. When is the best time to travel to Guyana?
The best answer is all the time. Of course, so there are, as I mentioned, two different seasons. So there's the wet season and the dry season. So that's just going to change the experience a little bit. Obviously, going during the drier season, more areas will be available for visiting. So the first dry season is from February to April, and then the wet season starts April to July, so our summer months. And then it goes back to the wet season again from November to January. So it kind of bounces back and forth between the two. So feel free to reach out to me though to give you a more in-depth answer.
And I've put
Excellent.
the contact information for everyone in the chat. I'll just say real quick that I know we've reached the hour mark. We
Oh,
have a few
okay.
questions and we're not leaving. But if the agents have to run, I just want to make sure you know you're fine. Sometimes, just so you know, that's okay. I've got a few saying goodbye in the chat, but we're here to answer the questions, and there are some more popping in. So absolutely feel free if Nancy, Jenna, Maya, and Shanae, if you're still have a few minutes, because our agents are the smartest and they love asking questions. And I just love the engagement. I have some on YouTube as well. That's for Guyana. If I might just share that now.
Absolutely.
They asked if that waterfalls was bigger than Niagara Falls that you were showing.
Yes, it's actually 5 times larger than Niagara Falls.
That's a good reference point. So
Yes,
5 times larger. Okay, so I'll share that with our YouTube audience who was asking that question. And Nancy,
thank
please go
you.
ahead.
Well, I think that Ella is asking if it's safe to rent a car or take a taxi. And certainly if you're referring to Montserrat or Saint Eustatius, Statia, I keep saying Saint Eustatia, Maya. Oh no, Statia. I'm going to say it is absolutely safe.
Yeah.
I think for Guyana, you're dealing with a big city. So Georgetown is a big city, and I think like any big city, you've got to be aware of your surroundings. But once you get out into the bush, you're really not taking a car or a taxi. You're doing it as a tour. Maybe you can explain a little further there, Jenna.
No, that's absolutely correct. I mean, you're really only in Georgetown pre and post your adventure in Guyana. So there's really no need to rent a car or a taxi at any point. That'll all be arranged throughout your trip. And once you're inland, you will just be in the bush in the Amazon. So you will just be, walking or boating or flying.
Yeah, I like the boating. I like that a lot. Okay, and then someone is asking, can you book via vendors like Apple Vacation, or is it just direct? Do they all pay commission for accommodation? So that's a really good question, and I think we'll go that country by country. Jenny, you're up on my screen. Is Guyana bookable through an American tour operator, or how would they book Guyana?
Yeah, so we do have various different operators that aren't necessarily located in the US specifically, but they are international tour operators in which you can book Guyana through them. So we do have a vetted list that is available on our website that you can take a peek through there, or as I mentioned before, you can reach out to me and I'm happy to give you more in depth about the different opportunities or operators in which you can book Guyana through.
Excellent. Shanae, your turn. For Montserrat, how do they book you?
Right. So we're not on major vendors like Application and stuff, but like going on for accommodations, you can of course book via Airbnb. I think some are on Booking as well. And again, it's mostly direct. So if it's our website and you contact the relevant persons through that route.
And if you're booking direct, then it's commissionable. If you're going through Airbnb, we know Airbnb isn't necessarily commissionable. So our spoiled agents want to book direct, and we
Yeah.
encourage you to do that. And then Stacia, Maya, you want to speak to how one would book St. Eustatius?
You will have to book direct because we don't have any connections either. But with Win Air, the smaller airline that flies into Statia, they have agreements with, I think, JetBlue, and I'm not sure they were supposed to have one either with United, I think. So then you book directly, you don't have to come out and go through the immigration again. So that's the only way of doing it. And from Europe with Air France and KLM, you can do that direct. For properties, for hotels, it's always direct because they don't have any agents. And even for the tours, the island tours, it's once you get here, you let us know and we can arrange them for you.
Great. And I know with some of the properties, we're encouraging them to get on hotel beds. So maybe one day you'll see more
Yeah.
of these properties hop onto to hotel beds. If there's any other questions, when I get the list from Spoiled Agent, I will go through each of them and answer them if I can, or I'll come back to Maya, to Jenna, and to Shanae to answer any questions that I can't answer, but we will get the answer to you if there's something that we've missed, okay?
Okay, great.
Wonderful. You've been an incredible host. Everyone has given us nothing but amazing feedback. So thank you. I know Jenna had to run to another meeting. And Shanae, thank you so much. Thank you, Maya, really for spoiling our agents with beauty, information, adventure, and just new horizons to discover. And One Caribbean, what a fabulous tool. So many great comments in the chat box because, I mean, don't wait. I'm going to throw that link in there once again to make sure you sign up. It's free. It just takes a couple minutes and it's going to open you to a world of information that's going to help you confidently and really be an expert in providing information and getting these clients the trips of their dreams to these Caribbean destinations. Nancy, thank you for making such a beautiful
Oh,
resource for these agents and really
thank
spoiling
you.
everyone.
Well, we're trying to spoil you, so thank you so much. Thank you, Sabrina. We love our spoiled agents, and we'll get the prize winner out to the prize winner within the week, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you,
Thank
Shanae.
you.
Thank you so much, Sabrina and
Thank you
Nancy.
so much. Thank
Thank
you,
Thank you,
you.
Sabrina. Thank
Maya.
you, Nancy. You have
Dewey,
a great
Maya.
Awesome.
day. Okay.
Dewey.
Bye.
Dewey.